Welcome Hella Fam, it is TJ and today I'm going to be doing a non-spoiler review for Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This movie couldn't have arrived at a better time. Obviously, the Asian community has been under attack verbally, physically. There's been attacks on our elders within the past year. It's nice to have an event that is meant to uplift our community rather than do it harm. This movie is a big deal for our community because this is the MCU's first Asian hero. It's actually Marvel's first Asian hero in general, but when it comes to the MCU, this is our movie. So to say that I was excited would be an understatement. The movie felt very authentic. Even the opening scenes, it is spoken in Chinese dialect and there are subtitles. I want to say I thought it would just be for a little bit, but we got a good amount of time where the scenes were all spoken in Chinese. I want to say we got about like 10-15 minutes of it. And the first thought that came to my mind was, wow, they're really doing this the right way. I'm sure some people are going to be hating on the fact that they got to read the subtitles, because I remember when Parasite won and everyone on Twitter was like, how could a movie like that where it's in subtitles? There's always haters no matter what. I just want to applaud Marvel for taking that chance and opening your movie with Chinese dialect. So thank you so much. Another noted change that we've known since the trailers, the 10 rings will be on the forearms rather than in the comics on the fingers. And I felt like it was a nice touch because especially with Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet and the snap, the rings on the forearms weren't out of place because in martial arts, people use the rings on their forearms when they train to fight. It didn't hurt the overall look. It actually kind of enhanced it. I felt like the effects of him punching or swinging his arms to, activate the 10 rings, I thought that looked great. And since we're on the topic of the 10 rings, I wanted to start the review by saying Tony Leung did such a great job as Wenwu. I felt like he stole the show. He had the best performance in the whole movie. His performance as Wenwu should rank him at the top of MCU villains. There was so much depth to the character. His arc, without giving away spoilers, his arc was done the best. If you're not familiar with Tony Leung, he is one of the most popular actors in China. I believe this is his first American role as well. So this is really just a sample of the talent that Tony has been showing in China for decades. Also, another standout is Simu, who plays Shang-Chi. I just want to say, if Shang-Chi isn't one of your favorite Marvel heroes after this movie, I don't know what to tell you. He was lovable, he was funny, and he was just kicking ass. When it comes to this movie with Shang-Chi, this is literally the best hand-to-hand combat in any MCU movie. The fight choreography in this movie was masterfully done. We're talking amongst the likes of Crouching Tiger or something like Hero. This does not feel like an MCU movie. And I love that. I love that it's contained into the story of Shang-Chi without any outside interference. We do get some cameos, but other than that, the overall story is unlike anything we've seen before. From the trailers, we're aware that Wenwu is Shang-Chi's father, but I did not expect the heart that this movie was going to have. To be honest, there were a few times where I thought my eyes were about to get watery. I thought someone was cutting onions. It definitely hit me in the right way, no pun intended. I also expected Aquafina to steal the show, and she did a great job. She pretty much did her thing that she did in Crazy Rich Asians. She's a very talented comedian. She's very funny. And she does have the acting chops as well too, which I've been seeing in each movie. So she's definitely growing as an actress. She did great. But I will say the scenes that had me laugh the most did involve Ben Kingsley, which I wouldn't say it's a spoiler because, he was at the red carpet premiere and took a picture with the cast. And I feel like because Iron Man 3 gets so much hate, I feel like he got to redeem himself. And of course, I love the idea that the movie took place in San Francisco. I'm from San Francisco, so it's always good to see your hometown in a big budget movie. Also, shout out to whoever decided to add a Kung Fu Hustle movie poster in Shang-Chi's room. That was fucking awesome. If you haven't seen Kung Fu Hustle, it's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I seen it in high school. I bought the bootleg in Chinatown in San Francisco, and I definitely recommend it. I believe it's on Netflix, so go check out Kung Fu Hustle if you haven't. Overall, this has been one of the best MCU movies that I've seen. I definitely put it in the top 5. And you know what? I may be biased. I am from San Francisco. It's in San Francisco. I'm half Chinese. The movie is a big deal for the Chinese Asian community. So I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't a little biased, but I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I am proud that this movie happened, and I would love for people to come out this weekend to watch the movie, because also I've heard that they're going to decide what to do with the Eternals depending how Shang-Chi does in the box office. I definitely don't want Eternals to get delayed. So like I said, go watch this movie. If I had to give it a score, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. This is not your typical MCU movie. It doesn't feel like your typical MCU movie. This is about as different as you've ever seen. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.